Hello, sis. I'm looking at souvenirs right now. What would you like?
What have you been doing without contacting me at all?
Huh? You were trying to contact me. I didn't notice. Did something happen?
How can you be so carefree? We're at the funeral right now.
Funeral? What do you mean? Whose funeral?
It's your daughter's.
What? What do you mean?
My niece Melissa collapsed the same day my sister left her with me to go on a trip. Despite knowing she had a fever, my sister left her child behind. I tried to contact her many times, but there was no response at all. By the time she finally got back to me, it was already too late. I felt nothing but anger. I've been married for 4 years, but the struggle of not being able to have children has been weighing on me. Right after getting married, we made plans to start a family and tried many times, but unfortunately, we haven't had any success so far. My sister had a shotgun wedding 2 years ago but divorced her husband within 6 months. Since then, she's been constantly pushing the responsibility of her child onto me.
It's like practice for when you have kids in the future, isn't it? So it's fine, right?
My sister always says this when she leaves her child with me. Every time, it leaves me with mixed feelings, but since it's not my niece's fault, I always agree to take care of her. However, since she shows no consideration for me, I'm getting really tired of it. And this time, too.
I'm going on a trip with friends for a week from tomorrow, and I'd like to ask you to look after Melissa again.
Huh? Again? You already left her with me last week.
I had work last week, so it couldn't be helped, right?
Could you ask our parents to look after her sometimes instead of always relying on you? I have plans too.
You're a housewife. What plans do you have? So why can't you?
But for a whole week.
I'll bring back souvenirs. And it's a trip abroad I've planned for a long time, so I can't cancel it.
Then why don't you take Melissa with you?
Children cause troubles to others, right? Besides, I want to enjoy myself alone.
Melissa would feel lonely, and you're being too selfish.
So, I'll drop her at your house before I leave on a trip tomorrow. See you later.
Left with a one-sided conversation, all I could do was sigh. I talked to my husband about this when he came back from work.
I see.
Yeah. That's why I need your help too.
Sorry, but I'll be on a long business trip tomorrow.
Really? For how long?
About 5 days. Could be a week if the negotiations drag on.
So, during that time, I'll have to take care of her all by myself?
Even if you say that, it's work.
All right.
If you feel it's too much, why don't you talk to your mom about it?
The thought of having to take care of her alone for a whole week was overwhelming. At this point, I felt like giving up. My niece was very attached to my husband. Perhaps because she didn't have a father, she saw my husband as a father figure. There was a time when I took care of my niece before, and she had a severe night cry. I didn't know what to do, but my husband calmed her down, and everything turned out fine. But this time, I'm alone. I felt extremely anxious at the thought of facing a similar situation again. Then, on the day of my sister's trip, my husband left early in the morning for his business trip, and I was left waiting for my sister alone.
All right then, take care.
As my sister hurriedly tried to leave, I noticed something was wrong with my niece. "Melissa, your face looks a little red, doesn't it?"
Oh, she's had a slight fever since this morning.
Huh? Are you really leaving her like this?
But I've been looking forward to this trip for so long. There's no way I'm not going.
But even so, she has a fever, take her to the hospital at least.
It happens a lot, she'll be fine. If you're that worried, you can take her to the hospital, right? Well, I have to go now. There's not much time left until my flight.
Wait.
It'll be good practice for you when the child gets sick, right? You'll learn a lot. See you later.
I couldn't believe she would leave a child with a fever and go on a trip. Seeing my niece looking tired, an indescribable anxiety washed over me. She's only 2 years old, so I couldn't give her over-the-counter medication. Luckily, it seemed like just a slight fever, so I cooled her head and put her to bed for now. I didn't know what else to do, so I called my mother for advice. Mom, my sister left Melissa with me again, and this time she's gone on a trip. And Melissa seems to have a fever. What should I do?
Calm down. How high is her fever?
Right now, it's just a slight fever, but...
Then let's keep an eye on her. If she has convulsions or seizures, call an ambulance immediately.
All right.
If anything happens, call me right away.
Hearing my mother's words eased my anxiety a bit, but I couldn't bear it for a whole week like this. Even though it's just a slight fever, watching her struggle with her small body made me feel more and more distressed. And that night, my niece's condition suddenly worsened. Her fever shot up rapidly, and she began to suffer, so I quickly called an ambulance. And then, I tried calling my sister, but for some reason, the call wouldn't go through no matter how many times I tried. Why isn't it working? Because she's overseas? So, I contacted my husband, but I couldn't reach him either. Perhaps the signal was out of range. All I heard was a heartless announcement. Feeling overwhelmed with anxiety, I contacted my mother, and she came over immediately. Mom, what should I do?
It's going to be okay. The doctor is with her. There's nothing to worry about.
However, despite the efforts of the medical team, her condition deteriorated rapidly. I kept trying to contact my sister every hour, but still couldn't get through. And then, 4 days later. No. It can't be. It's not true. I'm sorry. Melissa passed away. A mere 2-year-old child, unable to see her mother one last time. I didn't know what to do anymore. I just broke down in tears.
It's not your fault. There was nothing you could do.
I know. But
still, why can't we reach her?
I know, Mom. I should have asked where she'd stay at least if I knew this would have happened. I was overwhelmed with feelings of regret as I entrusted Melissa's body to the funeral home, despite how heartbreaking it was. With no way to reach my sister or my husband, I couldn't even discuss what to do next. My husband's trip was supposed to end tomorrow, so all I could do was wait for his return. Seeing how worn out I was, my mother kindly suggested I take a rest, and I was finally able to get some decent sleep after 4 days. The next day, I contacted my sister again in the morning, but the result remained the same. And then, my husband, who was supposed to come back, didn't return. Worried that his business negotiations might have been extended, I decided to contact his company. However, I was told that my husband hadn't been on a business trip at all, but he had taken a week of paid leave instead. I had a bad feeling. I tried not to dwell on it before, but Melissa was very fond of my husband, and he seemed to get along well with my sister too. My husband often complimented my sister, even in front of me, and she seemed delighted by it. Moreover, whenever my sister left Melissa with us, my husband would come home late, and recently, they even came back together sometimes. Once I started to doubt, more and more questions arose. This time, they left on the same day. They've gone for the same number of days. Is it really just a coincidence? I thought there might be some evidence, so I checked my sister's Instagram. There, I found several photos dated 2 days ago showing her enjoying room service in a hotel room. As I looked closely at the photos, I noticed my husband's reflection in the mirror. I became convinced that they were having an affair. Leaving a sick child behind for a cheating trip. And with her sister's husband. That's absolutely unforgivable. I saved the images and managed to get the divorce papers amidst the preparations for Melissa's funeral. 2 days later, Melissa's funeral was held with only close relatives present.
Why isn't she here?
Still no word from her.
No, not yet.
Not being at her child's funeral. What kind of mother does that? Unbelievable.
Finally, my sister contacted us while our parents were furious.
Hello, sis. I'm at the airport right now, looking at souvenirs. I was thinking of what to get since I'm coming back today. Also, I wanted to thank you for taking care of Melissa.
What have you been doing all this time?
Just on a trip.
I called you many times. Why didn't you answer?
Huh. Sorry, I didn't notice. Maybe because I was overseas. Anyway, is there anything you want?
I'm in the middle of a funeral right now, so let's talk later.
Huh. Whose funeral?
It's your daughter's.
Huh. What do you mean?
Melissa passed away 2 days ago.
Wait, I don't understand.
It's because you left Melissa, who had a fever. She kept calling out mommy, mommy until the end. It's as if you've killed your own child.
Wait, hold on.
If you can't believe it, then come back home right away. That night, unbelievably, my sister returned home with my husband. As I watched my husband comforting my sister, who was breaking down in tears as she looked at the picture of Melissa, I felt a sense of disgust.
I'm sorry. If only I had been there for you. I'm really sorry.
I'm sorry to interrupt you crying, but there's something I want to ask you.
What is it?
Since the night you went on your trip, I've been trying to contact you every day. I called you, I sent emails, and messages on WhatsApp. But I never heard back from you. Why?
Well, that's because I was overseas, so my phone didn't work.
Well then, what about this? Then, I showed my sister the photos from her Instagram. This was posted 4 days ago, right? If you were able to post, it means at least you had internet in the hotel, correct?
Well, that's...
You noticed my messages, but you chose not to respond because it was inconvenient for you, right? That's why my WhatsApp messages were never marked as read. but that was because you simply didn't want to communicate with me. Am I wrong?
That's not true.
Well then, let's ask the other person in this photo.
Other person.
Hey, did you enjoy your trip with my sister?
Ha!
I zoomed in on the photo and showed it to my husband and sister. They turned pale. Both of our parents were also staring at the photo with wide eyes. Clearly, the person reflected in this mirror is you, isn't it? How do you explain that?
Ha! Maybe it just looks like me. I mean, I was on a business trip.
I contacted your company. They told me you were on leave. And for a whole week. If it wasn't you, then where were you? Seems like you had quite the fun time, huh? Posting a photo like this. But you were a bit careless, weren't you?
I never thought I'd be caught like that.
I'm sorry.
Finally, both of them admitted to their affair. Our parents were furious.
What on earth are you two doing?
Leaving your child to go on a cheating trip is utterly disgraceful. You're not my child anymore.
I've tolerated you because you're a single mother, but do you know how much money I've given you all this time? I want it all back, but consider it severance pay. I don't want to see your face anymore.
Wait a minute. Mom, Dad.
Shut up. Don't ever come back here again.
Can't you say something to them?
What do you want me to say? It's all your fault. You should spend the rest of your life regretting what you've done. I couldn't forgive my sister for disregarding the life of my child, so I spoke harshly. My sister continued to apologize to Melissa, crying, but Melissa wouldn't come back. And of course, I also couldn't forgive the husband who stood by her all along. You're not off the hook either.
What? What do you mean?
Here, sign this immediately. We'll discuss alimony through my lawyer, so be prepared.
A divorce agreement? Why?
Why? Isn't it obvious? I can't believe you cheated with my sister. I don't want to be with someone so disgusting.
Wait a minute. I'm sorry. We can work this out if we just talk.
Seriously? How can I have a proper conversation with someone who lied about a business trip to go on a cheating trip?
Well, that's...
From now on, communicate through my lawyer. I submitted the divorce papers to the city office, and both of them agreed to pay me a combined total of $50,000 in alimony. I decided to leave the house and move back to my parents' home. I'm back again. Sorry.
What are you saying? You're our only daughter. Don't worry about it.
That's right. If it means avoiding being with someone like that, you can stay here as long as you want.
I'll be staying here for a while. Thank you. Afterwards, it seems my sister and husband got together, but their values didn't align, and they broke up after about 6 months. My sister ended up working tirelessly day and night to pay off the alimony, and now she lives in a rundown apartment, barely making ends meet. As for my husband, he worked at the company for a while, but his affair was exposed, making it uncomfortable for him to stay. After repaying the alimony, I don't know where he went. Well, it really doesn't matter to me anymore. I'm living a leisurely life without anyone pushing anything onto me. I've been planning a trip with my parents, and I'm glad I finally felt a sense of freedom after a long time. Although I'm happy to be single for a while, I still want children, so I hope to find a wonderful partner someday.